But
so he's picked up the Rekieta time slot. I haven't been watching, and I don't want to start any fights, and I'm not interested in getting into it. But is Rekieta doing the late night stream still?
he hasn't streamed in forever. I don't even know if he streams anymore. I don't even know what content he does. Nate, do you?
No, well, but he's on Twitter a lot. The last thing I saw from Nick is because the Aaron M. Holt, he has his trial for the revenge stuff.
Yeah.
So I know that they're trying to subpoena the witness from New York to wherever they're at in Candiota County. But another interesting part is that subpoenas for witnesses don't travel well. We all of us lawyers know that. So if you're trying to subpoena someone from another state, that's going to be tough. And the other thing is that I think Aaron is going to trial for the charge because he doesn't believe that the witness is going to show up. So if the witness doesn't show up, he's likely going to get a walk. If the witness shows up, then he's probably going to be in trouble. So we'll see.
So isn't the witness Kayla? I'm confused.
No, well, Kayla, you need the person that he sent the images to to authenticate the text messages and the images. These images were sent to me. I saw them, and this is what I saw, because the charge is sending explicit images to a third party without the party's consent. So you have to show that person got those images and what those images were.
So, I just tangentially, because people send me stuff, I really don't follow it that well. But from what I understand, the third party then would be Gino or some name like that.
Yeah, Gino is a third party who received the text messages. So
and that's Aaron's friend. So by being a friend, if he might just say, no, I'm not going to show up because that's my buddy. And are you saying that gets Aaron off the hook?
Yes. So the way the case is played out, first Nick and his family, they went to the police, they did the arrest. Aaron was supposed to plead guilty. He was going to a plea agreement. I know he already had an issue before, so the plea agreement just went away. His friend, I believe, is in New York or in another state. So they just recently sent a subpoena to that person in another state, Gino, saying, hey, we need you to come here. We'll pay for your travel and stuff. So now if Gino shows up, then obviously Aaron's in trouble. Because then the case is just there. If Gino doesn't show up, then the prosecutors are going to have to drop the case because Aaron they won't have a case without.
Quick question on that. I think everybody would be interested because this is something that could be templatable to other cases. What recourse does the state have to force Gino to show up or not? Are you saying that they have to just request it, and if he says pound sand, that there's nothing they can do?
Well, if you're it's a little iffy when you're in another state, because generally you can get extradited from one state to another if you've committed a crime. That's the Constitution, right? Any crime that you committed. So even if it's jaywalking, I can get you extradited. But Gino hasn't committed any crime, so he's essentially a material witness. So you can get a material witness warrant, which can get him extradited, or you can do a subpoena, which are the similar they're doing now, which can get him back. But most of the times when you have witnesses from other states, if they don't willfully come, then you're in trouble. You're probably not going to have a case.
Okay, that's interesting to know.
It's hard to get them. It's hard to get them into the state. I don't know if I'm assuming Joe and Viva may have had issues with. Well, Viva may have been from different provinces.
Yeah,
but Joe,
provinces. It's not the end of the world. You have to get service in other provinces, and I forget exactly how to. I mean, we've done it, but it makes it a little more difficult than if they're within the province. But states, I don't know if there's more state autonomy than provincial autonomy.
In criminal procedure, I imagine you get assistance from a U.S. Marshal, but in civil procedure, if they don't want to come, it's very difficult unless they're a party. If they're a party to the case, then you can compel them to come. But if they're just some witness you're hoping to get in there, it's just much more difficult.
What about this chat question? What about Zooming it?
Oh, sometimes you'll get dispensation from a court. Many judges don't like Zoom. They want the person there in person. They're very old school, which is actually, to be fair, Zoom is a pretty poor replacement for the feel the feel of the in-room court testimony. It's real. I mean, and just for the audience to understand, if you think back to the Deputy Heard trial, like whenever we saw it was, unless it was a celebrity who was on Zoom who was testifying, like I think one of his former girlfriends who was Ellen Barkin came and was on Zoom. So there you're riveted because it's like, oh my gosh, this is Ellen Barkin testifying. That's much more compelling than when you have some Zoom thing of some guy you never heard of. You just
hold on, they had the guy in the car smoking or vaping at the time. He was
that guy was funny. But that guy caught your attention. He caught your attention because he was funny.
I think what Joe is saying is that when you're talking about a key witness to a fact event, like in this, he is the fact witness. He is the key witness.
Right,
You need him in the room so the jury sees him sweating and they can evaluate his credibility, because without him, you don't have a case. So that's different than, some the slimo guy you can have on a Zoom call because he's not critical to your case. But this guy is definitely critical to your case. And I think the defendant in some jurisdictions have to waive them not being there in person. And if I'm the defendant in this particular case, he's got to show up. I don't want no Zoom for him. I would say I got a confrontation issue. He needs to be here so we can evaluate his credibility.
So in this case, if they are buddies, this does help him out in the sense that he can just say, yeah, not going nowhere. Can't make me, can't do it.
He could call their bluff. Now they can make him. They may have some procedure they can get him there, but generally, if he says I'm not coming.
And question on that, Nate. Let's say on the flip side, it's not a buddy situation. It's just somebody who's saying, look, I can't afford to go to this other state. I have a job, I have work. I can, lose money, or, I'm the only parent. I mean, there are circumstances, and is it fair that a person who is just a material witness, or, it did not actually commit the crime, is forced to go and travel to another location?
They'll generally take care of your travel expenses and stuff of that nature. But again, it's your civic duty, if you're a witness to a particular crime, to show up and tell them what you saw. So.
Okay. I didn't know. And I, of course, had a personal interest in this because there was a question of whether I was going to be pulled to New Mexico for some reason.
Oh, yeah. But again, you just tell them. You tell them. You tell the prosecutor, send me the paperwork. And they can't send you the paperwork because they know that's the fear. They'll threaten you, but it's just like, all right, send me the paperwork.
How dare you? How dare you send cops to call me and my future wife when we were nothing but good to you? Yeah, but my ass. We were nothing but good to you. You could have called us, asked us anything, but now you're like, now that I'm living with these people, because God forbid I lose my free ride. God forbid they throw me out. I need you to say, my poor friend, who's my husband while I was her husband, April's and you're like, oh, you have to understand. No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't.